What is your belief system around funnels? That's right. What is your belief system around funnels? All right. So if you don't know what this is all about, funnel hacker, Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels, he is probably the OG of funnels. Okay. If you watch my other videos, you'll know exactly what a funnel is. So make sure you're checking out my other videos. All right. I'm a big fan of ClickFunnels. I'm also a big fan of Go High Level. All right. Why? Because a lot of my clients, I'm not sure which one they're using, especially if I'm onboarding them and I ask them, all right, what are your tools? What are your systems? Blah, blah, blah. And we start getting into all the systems. And some of them have ClickFunnels, some of them have Go High Level, some of them have HubSpot, Kajabi, Asana, Monday, you name it. Okay, so I'm very, very, very familiar with all these, a lot of them because I use them. All right. And so I use ClickFunnels. I also use Go High Level. And my clients, as I mentioned, what is their belief system? It's the one they use. Okay. As a real estate business coach, a lot of clients ask me, like, what's your favorite or best CRM? And the answer is the one you use. Okay. Because I don't know how many coaching clients I have that are on subscriptions because I do audits, right? So when I start working with my coaching clients, I look at their P&Ls. You know, if they're really wanting to work with me, the more transparent, the better. Okay, the more they share, the more I can help. And it's not like I'm just a digital marketer or I'm just a bookkeeper or anything like that. I'm very, very high level as far as coaching. You could almost identify me as a fractional CFO, a fractional COO, or a fractional CMO when somebody hires me. So definitely, I'm not your typical kind of coach or consultant. How was that possible? Because my main background is real estate. I've been a real estate broker almost 30 years now. And in that time, I started as a part-time real estate agent, became a top producer, became a team builder, became a broker owner, and I really started to evolve into many, many different things from there, like fix and flipper, developer, syndicator, you name it, I've probably done it, okay? And so I made this video because I want you to figure out what is your belief system around business, life, real estate, because that'll either make you or break you, okay? And I mean that sincerely. As a child growing up, my dad shared with me a couple different things around his belief system, his BS, all right? And one of the BS belief systems he had was like, dude, Joe, when you were a kid, man, I thought there was something wrong with you. He would say that. I'm kind of laughing because it kind of is funny when you look back on it, because he used to say, dude, Joe, you used to eat with your left hand and I thought there was something wrong with you. And so I used to follow my hand, hit my hand. So he was like, dude, there was a lot of people using right hand and you were just using your left hand. I thought there was something wrong with you. So kind of forcefully, I became right-handed. And so I eat with my right hand. But you look at me in basketball, I dominate on my left hand and the left side, and it wasn't until like later when I grew up, and he shared that with me. He had another belief system also, like, dude, he goes, Joe, I didn't want you to grow up to be like me. Grandpa was a barber. His dad was a barber. I was a barber, referring to my dad. I didn't want you to be a barber. And that part did come true, where during COVID, I kind of figured out how to cut my own hair, but it still kind of comes out kind of jacked up, right? But it was one of those things that that was his belief system, right? And so I want you to realize, what are the different belief systems you have in business, real estate, or life that's either making you or breaking you, all right? What's your BS? And I really want you to write that down and maybe start eliminating it, because some of you, it's ego, where you're you got to be so right all the time. Some people say that ego stands for edging God out. That's their belief system too. Well, in some cases, that's probably right. Okay. I read a book a while back, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. And one of the principles and concepts that he wrote was you could be right or you could be rich. You could be right or you could be rich. That's a big one, because I'll tell you what, man, if somebody's wealthier than me, if somebody's more successful than me, you better believe I'm going to listen to this person. All right. And so, especially if it's around bringing up my business and bringing up my wealth. Okay. And I want you to start listening, check the fruit on the tree, they say. If this person who's instructing you, coaching you, mentoring you, doesn't have any proof of success, well, there's something you need to do, run the other direction. Because if they don't have any proof of success, be careful, all right? If they don't have personal proof of success, be careful. I've got both to some degree. On another note, though, I am very, very good at coaching, consulting. And there are some of my clients way more successful and wealthier than me. However, my gift, my talent is I know how to pick apart their business, find out the deficiencies in their business, and help them plug up the holes in their business. All right. So you probably hear my dog. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet because I think he needs to go outside. But anyway, take care. God bless. See you later, alligator. Keep watching, subscribing, and take a lot of notes. See ya.